Mom, so what were you saying?
Now, back in the day, the song come on, and then Jonathan be like, "I just don't get this. I don't get it." I'm like, what you mean? Why y'all like this song? Like, you don't fuck with this song?
Yeah.
Why y'all like this song that just glorifies welfare and government cheese?
Wake up, wake up.
Oh man,
That's true. I've been on welfare though.
no, but I'm saying
I bet I felt it.
not
though.
at the age that he was asking us.
I've been
this
on
question.
welfare as an adult. Let me
Yeah.
not say that. Like not growing up as a kid, I wasn't on welfare. I just chose to get food stamps. I was like, yo, that's free money.
I've gotten welfare
Especially
checks.
in college. Most people don't know they do that for college students. So I was definitely getting my $120 a month. Buying Tampico. Nasty selection choices when you forced to do that. Like
Don't do that, man. People shit on Tampico all the time. It's not the same.
It's pure sugar, man. Yo, my wife got me looking at sugar content now. I'm like, yeah, 37 grams seems kind of crazy. Like, but yeah, man. Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal as Carl. To my front, I have my man at Just Lex. And together, we form Voltron, having a great day. What's good, man? How you been, bro?
It's been like a month, huh? We've been menage a trois it for like a month.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, you're right, huh? Because we had JD, Mike, and then did Jonah come? Jonah came, yeah. Jonah started off at the top of that, man. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it's good to get back to me and you. I like those guys. They're great, dog. You know what I mean? But I like to just get back and the times, right? We've been feeding people who enjoy us at least, because I can't say that everyone listens all the way through. But we've been feeding people that enjoy us like an hour and 45 of content. Let me tell you what, for you podcasters that are out there doing that, God bless you guys, because that is a lot of work. Like even getting past the hour and a half mark in the video extends how much time I have to work on it like the next day. Like and I'm good. Like I'm good at it, right? And to the point where it's like, yo, I do it in 2 days. So like by the time like we do all this, the YouTube video comes out by Tuesday at least. But I start today. So I just have to be cognizant and around my phone, like right now when we leave out of here, I start the process. Just because I don't like sitting on things, and if a day goes by, I'm not working on it, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just saying. Anyway, how you been, bro? I've been talking a lot in the top half. What's up with you, bro?
Chilling, man. It's been an interesting month.
Yeah, yeah,
to say the least.
Absolutely.
Got a little rain coming.
Yeah.
Kids is on break.
That's weird that the seasons are starting on schedule right now. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
That got me because I was like, yo, I remember it still being hot last year around this time.
Well, I think that's just here specifically.
For real?
Because, like, it's still kind of hot.
In other places?
Yeah, so we got lucky this summer, I would say. I don't think it touched more than 90 a couple times. At least down by my house.
The humidity was nasty, though.
Humidity was up there, but it never really, it wasn't crazy.
Was scary to me.
Even though the rest of the state was crazy. So, you know, last decade.
I'll take it. For now. I'll take it.
Comes with a cost.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully
$7. I guess you don't got to worry about $7.
I guess, that's a good question. Do you worry about that? Like, about, like, what your kid's lifetime is going to look like?
Do I worry? Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but them specifically.
Them specifically?
Like in regards to like the weather and shit. I always imagine like the most craziest disaster known to man and was like, damn, all right, at least I got to miss that one. COVID, not so much. We got to live through a pandemic. There's people that live their whole life.
At least I got to miss that one. Oh, man, that polio sounded crazy.
I think they're redoing something with polio right now, or like it's on the rise or some shit.
Yeah, because these parents don't be vaccinating their kids.
Damn. So I went to the doctor on Wednesday with Corey, and she was like, "Oh, would you want to get a flu shot?" I was like, I don't know.
The one that I'll never do.
Well, like I would do it, right? But I was like, yo, she started going to school again, right? And I was like, these kids is nasty. She was sick the first week, right? Both of them was. And I was like, damn, you know what? I was like, let me call my wife real quick. Because I said, yeah. And she started prepping. But I was like, she's like, she's the one that's always like, no. But then the doctor chimes in. I love Dr. Rourke, too. She funny. She was like, You got it last time.
It's already in there.
I was like, you wait till my wife's on the phone to tell me that? Like, I could have just said okay then.
If we was going to Tuskegee, you was already on the way. Because last year.
I was like, bro, you could have told me this shit like right before I got her on the phone. The first thing she said was, she went with the Dr. U last time too. Go ahead. She's like, in case you guys were wondering or concerned.
I would have did the same shit.
You get flu shots?
Nah. But she's you in a situation because she'll call me. Because she feels pressure to be like, well, the doctor said it, so I got to say yeah. And I get on the phone. Nah, I don't do that shit. We decline him.
Yeah, that's why
we decline as a family.
She got me too. She hit me with the like I'm educating this black brother. Like she was like, yo, my kids got it too, just so that you know you feel better. Like
I can see your kids get the shot.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Like I'm over here like, oh, I'm the bad parent.
It's weird because I'm only like that about the flu shot specifically.
Which is, I mean, it's similar to the COVID vaccine.
Well, because it's like, all right, well, when I got it, whenever the last time I got it, like 20 years ago, it's like, you told me to get this, and then I got sick right after. Nah, that sounds stupid to me.
Well, they inject the old.
Well,
it's not a live
I know how
virus.
they do it,
right.
But I got sick, and I ain't been sick since.
Yeah, shit.
So, you know,
get you right.
I'm
King.
just going based on what my body telling me. My body telling me no.
We don't need it. We don't need it. Don't put nothing else forward in me.
Yeah, man. I'm not getting no more boosters either. For what?
I mean,
I got all my boosters. I still caught it.
True. This lady I know, her son, he got it, and she said it was worse than the first time he got it, though. So she's like, this new strain is different.
Yeah, because
I'm not giving it to my kids.
Because now the new strains is just like a flu. New strains of that. So, and I'm just, I'm sick. Man. Oh, because I ain't talk about that, too. Because I'm cool with needles. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that when we talked about getting shots or whatever in my body. But since I've been going to the dentist and trying to get right, dog, my worst nightmare.
You don't like this shot in the mouth?
No, well, yeah. Nah, I ain't fuck with that. But it's also like a mental thing. Because some shit, like when they polish your shit, it comes on something that sounds like a drill. My mind be like, like, we just polishing your shit. I'm like, nah, man. But here's the thing. And I don't know if this is the same all the way around, right? But the last time I went to the dentist, they, to numb me up, they gave me 3 shots up top, 3 shots up bottom.
In the mouth.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me say, the first time they did it, they was doing it. So because I'm close, I'm like, all right, as long as I don't look at the needle, I'll be fine.
I'll be.
So after the first shot, I'm thinking 1 up top, 1 on bottom. I didn't know they was doing 3, so I looked. I saw the needle. I was like, God damn it.
They hit you right in that muscle, too.
And then they gave me 3, right?
Yeah,
so I go back the next time, they got to do it again. So after 3, I'm like, all right. So I'm sitting there waiting. She's like, you good? I said, nah. She's like, huh?
What you mean not good?
Like, are you numb yet? So we can start. I was like, nah. And then the top one started going. I was like, yeah, all right. The top's good. The bottom's still nothing, huh? So she's like, all right, I got to keep going. I was like, what you mean keep going? They put 2 more in me. I was like, all right.
Were you drilling yet?
No, this is just to numb me up.
No, I know. You get the drill because you can't feel your lips.
No, but I wasn't numb.
That's what I'm saying. After the new
added
shot.
You said drooling. I thought you said drilling.
Nah, after the new 2 shots, did you start feeling numb?
She was like, all right, let's wait. Look, she's like, still nothing? I said, nah. So she's like, let me go get the doctor. I was like, is this like her first day on the job or whatever? And the doctor comes. She laced me with 2 more. And I'm like, man, this is my worst. Like, this is the worst part of the process. Now you
just keep getting whatever it is. You don't even know what it is.
And then she's like, all right, we're gonna we'll just start on the top, and then hopefully by the end the bottom will be numb. I was like, all right. So they do all the top. How you feeling? I still feel my lips. I'm still good. She's like, all right.
They must be missing the muscle then. So it's hard to get to.
So they're like, all right, do you want to try again or do you want to come back? I was like, man, I'm already here. I've already been shot up. Like, just go. So they knocked me 3 more.
Why do you need the shots in the first place?
To numb my, because they was
doing a deep cleaning, right?
Deep cleaning, and they was doing a couple cavities.
Oh, okay, yeah, that. But do you feel them?
Well, so they hit me with 3 more, right?
But I'm saying, do you feel the cavities first?
No.
Okay.
And so at this point, I went 3 up top and 10 on the bottom. 10 shots. And I'm still like,
what's the legal limit?
I don't know. I don't know. They pumped me so much. So I'm like, and even and then they're like, are you numb? I was like, I'm kind of numb. But when he started working, I was like, oh, I can feel a good amount of this. And they're like, "You want us to stop?" I said, "Nah, just
keep going
until I start."
I've been there before.
And then as soon as he said, "All right, we're done," my whole shit went numb. Then I start drooling. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I was drooling. I was drooling till like 9 p.m.
For real?
Because they're like all that shit just started circulating. It was my worst nightmare.
Oh, so you felt it?
No, I felt everything, and then as soon as he said we're done, my shit goes numb.
That's probably a good thing for you though. And because if it went numb, it was already going numb, and that's why you were like, "Oh, I'll continue." But I've definitely not asked for for the sake of not like wanting to feel my lips and not biting my damn cheeks and shit without noticing. I'm like, "Yeah, don't give it to me. Like, just go ahead." And
I just wasn't trying to
major squeezed on the armrest, like just taking it. You know, like you, I've been through the dental woes. That was about 5 years ago, though.
I pinch myself. I try to put a little focus of pain somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
everybody's got something. Which is funny.
I can see the doctor. I can see them like looking at me, like, "What the fuck is he doing?" Because I'm sitting there just doing this.
Yeah. Ate my head class. It's the repetitiveness that makes. Well, that funny.
because I'm sitting there for a couple hours at a time, and I gotta move and get up. My Apple Watch screaming at me.
That's funny as hell, man. Oh, what do I want to do? Random shit to fill in time. I wanted to get Alex's take on this. I think I sent this to him, or maybe I stopped, but I wasn't. Oh, you know what? I can't send it to you. That's right. It's in the notes. Go ahead and go into the notes and click the link under the thing. That's why we do it in the first place, man. My bad. But this guy, these guys come up on Instagram. And Instagram is almost like an advertisement thing, right? But they come in here, they try, spewing out some facts. It's the one that says Instagram on it, right? They start spewing out some facts.
Do you want to set your kids up for life? Follow these 3 tips to build their credit and make them millionaires. No bullshit. Start this early and be consistent. Number 1, open a custodial Roth IRA for them ASAP. Then put $100 per month into the account for 18 years and let compounding do the trick. And with an average return of 8% at 55 years old, they will have roughly $1.3 million. Number 2, put them on payroll. That's right, if you own a small business, you can pay them up to $12,500 a year per child, and it's tax-free. And for work, it can be as simple as having them sweep or be in pictures for your marketing. And this earned income can be invested in the Roth and maxed out yearly. Pro tip, this can be a direct write-off against your company profits, and you don't even have to add them to the payroll. Just please confirm what your state laws are with your accountant or lawyer. Number 3, make your kids authorized users on 1 or more of your credit cards. This is an easy strategy to build their credit as minors. You will thank me when they turn 18 and have an 800 credit score and don't need you to co-sign.
So what'd you think about that? Is he right?
Yes, he is right.
Break it down for the simple math of what for our listeners, what a Roth IRA is and the return on investment.
Okay, well, IRA is a individual retirement account. Most of you might have one of these through like a 401k or something like that. All Roth means is how it's taxed. So normally your 401k, your IRA, whatever, is tax deferred. And so whatever money you put into it, you can have a little tax break on the income that you have for that particular year. So if you're in a high bracket, you can essentially lower your bracket by putting money into this account. And that's all great for high earners or whatever. The problem is, depending on how much money you make, it's going to get taxed later. So when it gets taken out later, it might be taxed at more, depending on what the tax rate is at any given year.
When you say take out, meaning you pull from your retirement account.
Yeah. So Roth, what you're doing is you're basically paying tax on the money that you put in there. And this is great for lower income earners because you're not paying a lot of tax on it anyway, right?
Right.
So you throw the money in the Roth, and then whatever it grows to later in life, it's all yours. It's all tax free, the gains.
Problem is, You got to pay more money to pull it out sometimes, huh?
No.
No?
No. You just got to. The
if you meet the age requirement.
The problem with IRAs is you got to wait till you're 59 and a half.
Right.
And so, but with the Roth, you don't have to wait to 59 and a half on the contributions because you've already paid the tax on
But if
those.
you pulled it out before you got to that age or whatever, you pay the penalties on that, right?
Yeah. Unless for the Roth, unless it's the contributions. The gains, you got to wait. Now, opening a custodial IRA, that just means like they're under 18. You're the custodian, so you can kind of control it, even though it's their account. And this is a great thing to do. The problem is they're not allowed to have one. So that part 2 he has would put them on payroll. They can't have one unless they're earning money. So this is tough for regular people who don't have businesses because that's who he's talking to, people with small businesses. Me with a 9-to-5, I can't open an IRA for my kids and have them fund it like that. At least to my knowledge, how the law is written right now.
In California.
Yeah, so for you, basically, and this is what we were eventually going to do while the daycare was still running at my house, if we sent out a newsletter or something and then pictures of them or whatever, or have them clean up around the house and stuff like that, and then you put them on payroll and then you can max their IRA out. They can the business can get a write-off. They can get essentially tax-free money into their Roth, and it'll stay tax-free forever because they didn't pay tax on it, and then when they take it, it won't be taxed later. And then the big one, number 3.
I agree with that one the most.
Number 3, I touched on this and maybe in our first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
But this is something that anybody can do, whether you have a business or not, is make your kids authorized users on your credit cards. Assuming you have good credit habits.
Right.
But basically making not just your kids, but anybody that you want to help out is if you have good credit habits, their name being associated on your card that has good credit habits, they're going to benefit from all that.
Or even bank statements, right? Bank accounts, right?
Well, bank accounts, not really, because that has nothing to do with your credit. But, they don't have to know what a credit card is, but if their name is attached to it and you're paying all your bills and you're being responsible, you pay it off and this and that, it's going to look like they're doing the same thing.
Which I would say, like, for people who have bad money habits, and I'm just asking you dumbass questions so that people have the answers to. These are like the facts, the frequently asked questions. But what I would say is that if you were going to do that, then buy all the shit that you buy for your kid with that credit card. It's the money that you're designating for them in the first place. Like, why not buy their things and then pay it back, at the end of the month? The reason why I say that is because most people go out and make dumbass purchases. I gave you a story about this dad that I know about and how ain't shit he is or whatever. And so I was sitting there thinking about that. I was like, if we could just practice really good habits and get away from like ourselves as individuals and be better people for our kids, that's my suggestion. It's like, if you're going to go out and buy a big wheel or buy them a bike or something like that, put it on that credit card with their name on it, pay it off or make the payments.
Human
behavior fucks all these plans up.
I don't know what that has to do with depending, I guess, if you don't use credit that, like, I use my credit card for everything. So it's not necessarily like, when you make somebody authorized user, they do get their own credit card, but that's usually just going to stay on the shelf or whatever. Like, it's not, I'm going to use my credit card for whatever I use it for anyway. Not just like, you guys only benefit from my credit habits when I'm buying you something. Like, no, you're going to benefit
18 years worth of that would be fire though.
Yeah, because one of the biggest things about your credit score is credit history.
Right.
So by the time they turn 18, it's like, you got a decade already.
But you're speaking from a person who has great money management.
But it's all, and the most important part of it is because even though I had great money management when I was 18, nobody would give me a credit card. It was kind of like that job catch-22. We're looking to hire somebody with experience.
So what should your mom have done?
How the fuck am I supposed to get experience if I don't ever get a chance to get a job?
What would your mom would need to do for you to be able to get a credit card?
I wouldn't want to be on her credit card.
Don't do that. You could just say, nah, I'm good.
My mom could have attached me to her credit card and it would have showed the history. It just might not have shown.
There's multiple factors that go involved, like how much money you make too gets like it means how much we're gonna allow you to borrow. What your limit is.
So the the things that the credit card companies care about is how much. Well, they start off with how much money you make, so that they'll give you one. But then, yeah, as far as your credit score, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how you're using that credit card. Are you using more than 30% of it at any given time, or too long? How long have you had the credit history? Have you missed any payments? Don't fall for that. And we probably mentioned that too, but this is a common misconception that I keep a balance on my card. Otherwise, I won't get credit for having the credit card. So if I keep a balance on my card and then I pay my monthly payments, it makes it look good to the bureaus and everything. That's not true. I buy everything on my credit card and it never shows up on a statement because I pay it off before the end of the month, and that counts just the same. You know what I mean? So
somebody who has 650 credit score right now, that might be solid enough to do some things. Let's say somebody who's got a 610. What should they do to repair their credit?
I mean,
we're just giving out game.
The first thing you should do is pay off whatever debts are associated to the credit.
So, let's say, okay, I'll give you a scenario
whether that be collections,
too broad. 617 credit score. You got $500 in the bank account. You make $5 above minimum wage, right? What should someone do to be able to repair their credit score based off of those circumstances?
Well, depending on if you have a credit card or not, the best thing to repair your credit score is to pay off your debts. I'm assuming, if you have any type of collections, you can call and try to get those knocked off, or you don't got to pay the whole thing. Sometimes you can negotiate. You could pay half, you could pay whatever, but those are going to be the biggest jumps in your credit score. If you don't have any credit and you're trying to build something and you were in a position like me when I was 18 where nobody would give you something, you can go get a prepaid credit card where if you have cash, you go buy yourself a credit card with that limit, and then you start spending it like it's cash.
There's a term for that
for what you do.
Bank. What do they call that? Secured.
It's a secured credit card because you've already paid for it. Mm-hmm. So you go in, you get the secured credit card, $500, and then you go spend on it, and then they're going to use that to build your credit. I think they're trying to pass some laws, which I think they should have a long time ago, to where utility bills and rent should count towards your credit score, because those are stuff that you pay every month.
You're paying it on somebody else's credit,
and a lot of
which is crazy.
And a lot of people that are able, I might not be super great with my money, but my lights is always on and my rent's always paid. And I'm not great with these credit cards, but it's something that I think it would help out a lot of people.
Just bring balance.
But yeah, biggest thing I always do when I'm helping people with their credit, you got to knock off these debts. Like, it's great to build up an emergency fund and stuff like that, but that's what your credit card should be for, an emergency, right? So get to a point where those are clear so you can have an emergency, because if you just sit there and try to hold money in a bank, that's not giving you nothing for it, just so you can look at your bank account and be like, oh, I got some money in there. When these credit cards are charging you 20% interest month after month, and you sitting here paying the minimum payment on your credit card statement, there's usually a part of it where it says how long it's going to take you to pay it off if you do this, or that. If you pay $100 more a month, it's going to take you whatever. Always look at how long it takes at the minimum payment, and you're going to be like, that sounds crazy. I only have like $800 on this credit card. You're going to tell me it's going to take me 5 years to pay it off for just $800? Like,
just drop it.
That's what it is, man. So,
I was telling somebody that we know the same thing. I was like, yo, like the people at the bank, they tell you the shit that's on the pamphlets or whatever, like that they tell you to say or whatever, or they'll give you some advice, but they'll give you some dumbass advice.
Well,
too.
Half of those bankers don't even know what they're talking about.
Half of them don't have good credit they damn self, right? I've seen it. My mom used to work at the bank. I know some of the people that used to be coming around and shit. I'm like, yeah, you ain't got good money management habits too. So like sometimes those things don't just qualify people. But my man's had like a $1,500 bill on his credit that I know. And he called the bank and it was like, well, I'll just keep making the minimum payments of $30. I said, bro, you gonna be paying that shit forever, and you missing out on points that you could use right now.
Well, those are my favorite. If I'm the bank, those are my favorite customers. The minimum payments, because you're paying on time, and you're always paying me interest.
Right, all day
and
long.
So it's like I'm a raise your limit. Even you're such a good customer, you're so responsible. You're always paying us on time. We care about the on timeness, but yeah, I want you to keep a balance your whole life.
That type of math is crazy because because not even it's relevant to that, but not on the same scale. My Cox bill was $160 last month. I just got internet, right?
Damn.
He been playing the game. So they hit me up, right? They like, oh, you want to get an extra block for $30? We'll give you an extra 500 gigabytes. I said, nah, let me do some math real quick. I look back on the whole year, was like, yo, y'all only popped me for over 89 twice this year. So if I add an additional 500 on there, right, and all I got to do is just cut my habits, I don't need to spend this additional $30. I could be stuck here at the 89. That type of thought process, right? I'm trying to teach my son that same thing. So the other day I asked him if I could borrow $1. He earned money from playing sports, doing school work, and doing stuff around the house. I'm like, hey, man, let me borrow $1. And I was like, in 2 months, I'll give you $2 after you let me borrow $1.
That's a hell of a return.
And he was sitting there thinking, he was like, But his thing is, like, he wants to use it for video game in-app purchases, right? So it'd be killing him inside, the crucial conflict, right? So he'd be bringing it up to me days later because, he's still young. His brain's still trying to compute things, but he's going through and I'm just like, hey, man, if a kid, I wish I knew that in high school. It took me 26 years to figure out how money works. I wish I knew that if I was giving the homies $1, I should have been asking them for $1 back. Like, hey, look, I'm going to charge you $1 for me giving you $1, so now you owe me $2. You either take it or leave it.
Well, I mean, nasty. I'm kind of Aristotle with it.
I know you are. I'm cutthroat.
But shit, 100% return in 2 months is
nobody knows that math.
But see, that's the thing because it's such a small amount,
right?
And this is something that adults struggle with too, because like when prices go up, most adults are just looking at the bottom line. So the biggest instant, for my example, I can use is Dollar Tree, right? It's now $1.25 tree. Now, in the grand scheme of things, you're like, yo, it's $1.25. I'm still winning.
You're paying 25%.
But what I'm
more.
looking at is like, yo, a 25% increase is fucking nuts.
Right.
Or even like when I'm, if I'm shopping between brands, one is $1, one's $1.10. They're like, yo, what the fuck, man? It's only 10. I was like, yo, over years of time adding this up, like this is 10% here, 15% there. All that shit,
or like, spend more. If you buy 20 items, it's gonna add up.
It all means something.
Yeah.
And then and so when it comes times when we really gotta tighten the belt, when you got $7 gas and you got this and that, like.
Yeah, people's looking
all
at
of
gas
these things you look at
ain't bad. Nah, it was a gateway for them to get to $6.
The older narrative used to run where we used to make fun of like me buying on the per count instead of what the actual thing was.
I never made fun of you. I saluted you. Now other people made fun of you because they didn't see the vision.
It's like
I see where you was talking about now. Where like because that's where we started at. I did idolize that.
It's like
but I was able to see it. Don't worry, it's some background shit that we
right. You
about.
gotta. It's certain things you just gotta. Like to me, it's not always common sense. It's not logical. Like money is not an easy thing to understand. Like you say, it take you 26 years to understand it. Like people are 46, 56, and they still don't.
You can't do shit with cash. Depending on the amount of what you're going to spend it on. I seen a dude try to buy a $200,000 Lambo. He had $220 in cash, and the people at the dealership were like, nah.
Oh, he just went to the wrong dealership.
Yeah, he was like, nah. And he went through a private guy, and he gave him cash. His thing was being funny. He did it in all ones, which is disrespectful, right? But he did it in all ones, and they said, no, you got to put that in the bank, wire it over. We only take wires. Same thing with a house, right? Again, you may be the wrong house people. I probably don't want to do business with that house people in the first place, but still.
I'm like 50 Cent in his in the movie.
Get rich or die trying.
What he say? He's like, when the fiend came up and had change, he smacked the chain. We don't take change, and the next scene 50 narrates, I take change.
Yeah, he do.
I took everything,
which is smart. But he knew how money worked. Dude, I realized that like a lot of people, right, they don't use money, they leverage.
Well, yeah, if you understand
their credit all day long. If you know how to leverage your credit, that's why people say, "Oh, you buy all these nice things." No, I leverage my shit. I don't need any big ass purchases right now, and I still afford to save, right? I put a lot of money away, in my opinion.
Well, most people that don't understand leverage, they still leverage. They're leveraging their credit, right? The thing is, they're usually they're usually leveraging it for something that's not an asset but a liability. So, I ain't got the cash on me, so I'm leveraging my credit so I can buy whatever thing, and now I got to pay this out over time. See, the reason I used to take change and all that other stuff is like, because back in the day, Coinstar was, it's probably still a thing, right? And I'd go to Coinstar and I'm like, yeah, I got all this change. I turn it in, get the little receipt, go to thing. I'm like, man, they're hitting you over the head for 9.5%. And everyone's like, it's for convenience fee. I don't want all this change. They going to give me dollar bills for 9.5%.
You can go to the bank and do it though. If
you go to the bank and do it. So I used to do it like it was a slow burn. If I got change, I'm like, man, I ain't going to. What I'll do is I'll take a few dollars at a time, and then, I go grocery shopping once a week, and I'll just ask the cashier, like, yo, hey, my man, when you open that shit up, can you give me a few dollar bills? And I'll just slowly collect it over time for my 10%.
Right.
A little bit more work, and it might seem ridiculous, but I need my 9.5%.
Boom. A little bit more work.
It is a little bit more work.
Most people are lazy.
Well, yeah, true. They call that shit like if you go to 7-Eleven versus Food for Less, the price of milk is a big difference, and there's a reason they call it a convenience store, because you paying for convenience. You paying for the fact that it's on the corner. You paying for the fact that it's open 24 hours. You paying for the fact that you can get a whole bunch of shit there at one time, because you don't want to do a little bit of extra work to get in the car and go down the street to get you some real groceries.
Right. I mean, I get it. I'm not stretching the cow udder. You know what I mean?
And then as you lifestyle creep, as you get older, you make a little bit more money. You start to be like, or my time is starting to become more valuable than, the DIY stuff. It's like, I can pay for the convenience of having someone else do it, or doing less work to get said item.
I did that for two reasons, right? So I put the floors in. I did a lot of the work in my house myself. And the reason why I did that, one, is the convenience, right? Because I knocked out a ton of labor costs of them hiring too many people. The other piece is I want to know if somebody's lying to me in the future for the next house that I get, like if I wanted to make some upgrades. Like I want to know generally how much things cost. And a lot of people don't want to put in that effort. Like I got friends that say that, like, "Hey man, I don't want to mess with that or whatever." And it's like, yo, I be breaking down shit per count per box. So like when I had to lay down my floor, I had to figure out the square footage, figure out how many planks come in the box or whatever, and do math. Now I was fucking failing at that shit miserably, and was like, yo, I should have did this better in 5th grade, because my square footage math is off right now. But you got to account for corners and shit like that, broken pieces and everything.
Spillage.
Yeah, but again, it's a learning experience. And it was a house that I was willing to do it with, right? We put the floors in wrong downstairs. The upstairs is great. Downstairs still needs to be redone. She looked at that floor and was like, that's not how it looked like on the thing. Like, I think you doing it wrong. I'm like, you know what the fuck you talking about. Sure enough, after we laid that whole floor down, I popped open the video and saw what bro did. I said, yep, we missed a key step. And we're going to pay for it later. We're going to pay for it later. And we're paying for it as we speak. But it's like, yo, but I need to know. Because when I go, I'm not going to do it again myself. But when someone else does it, I'm going to know a little bit. Next thing, black people don't like horseplay. And I would say minorities in general. Where this came from was this lady had a video on Instagram of her 2 kids playing. She's like, they said when you get the second one, they're going to be fun. They're going to have fun and they're going to play together. That kid was whooping the shit out of his little brother's ass and all that. Or out of the older brother's ass and everything, like the little girl was, and like they was fighting and all that. And I was sitting here thinking, I was like, there's a threshold to this about what's going on with them that I wouldn't generally allow to happen in my household. Once you start screaming and yelling and someone starts crying, that's the end of the game.
Stop pussyfooting around.
Yeah, I'm I am a component of noise, right? So. In your experience, because you probably have more experiences with people of your ethnicity and culture, right? Do you feel like we cracked the whip, like minorities cracked the whip a little harder than Caucasian counterparts?
Probably.
Or do you think it's the same? Now, your mom's an anomaly, right? So I don't want you to... She's grown up in this neighborhood for quite a long time. So, like, I feel like she's made the transition. Matter of fact, I don't know if I talked to you about this, and I hate bringing this, But there's some dudes that be working outside of her house, like doing not her house, but like,
working out or working.
They work on the cars. You know what I'm talking about. That family that be working on the cars. All black family. You know, they look like.
No, she fucks with them.
That's what I'm saying. Like most people in her position, the way she, you know, grew up and all that other stuff, won't go and approach those families. But she go over there and check on them and all of that. And so, like, I'm saying that because, like, she's cut from a different cloth. But other people that you see.
But that's different, though. I think she's doing that for different reasons because she just want to talk to people and or, you know, whatever. When it comes to kids, her definition of what noise is like impossible for a kid to comply with. So, yeah.
But then in your experience, though, do you feel like the horseplay scenario is right? I swear to God, I feel like I see. Now the younger generation is a little different, right? But like my aunt could snatch me up, you know, back then, you know, my uncle if they wanted to, if I was acting up. Now my mom and dad may want to know what was going on first before they give confirmation that the snatch up was justified. But that's, you know,
I think that's a generation thing, though.
Do you think so?
Like our generation, us as parents, we don't allow the same shit as our parents did. Cause I'm like, I was like, damn, you know what? Like we had neighbors' parents that was like yelling at us, or if they was that kind of cool of a neighbor, like they was that close, it's like. Damn,
but nobody on your block could talk to your kids at all, though, right?
They could probably whip my ass too. But we don't have the same relationship. But then, like,
and that's a generational thing too.
But I think it just depends on like how close you are. Like if one of my people, like if you or whatever starts yelling at G, and I'm looking like, yeah, G over there deserve to be yelled at, then I'm not gonna like freak out.
Like it seems like y'all only come together on Halloween.
Yeah.
Based off of what you telling me in your neighborhood, right? I don't know.
Like, I mean, there's like birthdays and stuff, but even then, we probably missed a whole year of their birthdays too. I don't know, but
like this block right here that we on right now, like podding on, like it's unique in that fact. There's no other block like this. They be going out having block parties and shit, barbecues and shit at people's house. Well, but I've noticed that there's a little cattiness too, though. Like when you get some of them isolated or whatever, like say if they invite one person, they get real nasty over here.
And it's like a foundational thing. Like the people that do that are probably, they've been here for a minute. They ain't going nowhere. They're established, right? A lot of people are moving a lot more frequently. A lot of people, it also, especially in my neighborhood, it's such a big Navy community. Like they just be up and leaving at the drop of a hat. So it's like you don't necessarily always get to establish that, like, oh, we're about to be neighbors for like a long, long time. When I was living on Dictionary Hill, my next door neighbor, we were trying to establish that because he's like, I ain't going nowhere. He would invite me up for, because, we got those views. And he had a little fire pit out.
So you're saying that the hood is a little bit more conducive to being neighborly?
No, not necessarily. I think more and more nowadays people are moving more and more quickly, and so you're not really staying long enough to have that. Because back when I was younger, we had the block party on 4th of July, and we go out in the middle of the street, and everyone would lace their barbecue, and it was just one big thing. And the kids would put on a basketball game for the adults, or whatever we was doing, and just everybody be outside all day. We'd be outside all day. The parents would be like, all right, whose driveway we gonna meet up? Your driveway is the least steep, so they lay up their lawn chairs and they had their drinks or whatever they was doing with their boombox, watch us do whatever we was doing. And that's just not gonna happen no more. And it's also like with more information, right? Because when parents do that, there's a risk that comes along with it. Now, in our instances, it was a very small risk. There's a risk assessment to do whatever you're doing. But, as things become more globalized and news, and it's just constant, like all us as parents, we're on our phones. All we hear is like, blah, 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 got snatched up. Or she sent me some shit a couple weeks ago because I'm always at the park with him and shit. Because I'm kind of like, yo, y'all know where the bathroom is? Like, go. And she sent me this story of this like random weird dude who he'll go into the stall of a park bathroom and he just posts up and he just wait for a little kid to come in there.
To snatch him up? And
the parent would never know if the parent just like obviously some little kid, like I'm going to go whatever. But like G at 7 years old, I'm like, all right, man, he's got a level of independence. You can go to the bathroom. But then like some shit like that, I'm like, damn, I don't even matter. Like that sounds like I gotta walk my 15-year-old in to make sure like that's some weirdo shit. And you just never know when that's gonna happen. Also with my neighborhood, you know, with their little Facebook neighborhood pages that they be on, there's a young couple that goes around to all these Chula Vista parks. Or it might be more than Chula Vista, but you know, just from what I see, and they just post up at the parks. They ain't got no kids. They just walk around like they got a kid, and they just start scouting. And then they'll start like getting closer to children or kind of chasing them around kind of lightly. Yeah, I caught them at our park. I don't know if I brought this up on the show.
That's new.
A few months ago, but I got to look at
them working in tandem.
They got like this like mystery machine looking van type of thing.
Yeah, see, there's a psychology to this. One of them's the dominant. I've been watching a lot.
But they're like a couple that's like in their 20s, like on some weird shit.
That's what no. I'm with you.
Child trafficking's a really big thing in San Diego. Well, maybe everywhere, but in San Diego, there's a lot. So once I caught, I was like, man,
we're on that belt.
So I fucking I think
we talked about this before. Yeah.
So I
goes all the way to St. Louis.
I punched they van because they saw that I like the jig is up. Like I know who the fuck y'all are. They dipped off. I was a little far away. I ran up on them, and I was like, "Why punching the van wasn't gonna stop the van? But my fucking hand hurts."
Right.
And then
van 1, Alex 0,
and that's like that sucks because it's like, man, I'm at the park. Not that I'm not paying attention to my kids, but at the same time it's like, damn, I gotta be like super on it like at all times no matter what we doing, and that makes it like a new level of exhaustion.
Yeah, I mean, but being a parent is exhausting with
right but even it's like, oh, even as exhausting as like, all right, man, you're 7-8 years old, I'm right here right outside the bathroom, you can go to the bathroom right there. But to just fact that like, oh, somebody might be
but
fucking
those people
waiting around
always existed. I would argue that we lived in an era where they could get away a little bit more frequently.
No, exactly, because our parents had a different risk assessment. They're like, man, your legs ain't broke, take your ass.
I ain't heard nothing in the paper. It wasn't instantaneous news and shit. Because like now my question is, if they were like,
yeah, it's a news
hey, we want to go play on the next street over, we gonna go play over there, can they go without you?
Yeah. My mom didn't know where I was at from like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
But I'm saying, can they go over to the next street without y'all?
I'm trying to get to the point where I can let G go to school by himself.
And you probably won't feel good about that too.
Nah, I can't because he snitched too much. I'm like, if we do this, it's got to be on a weekend. Your mama ain't here. Or
they do like telling on themselves.
No, because he'll come like
say if I said no,
he'll
candy.
have a sense of pride. Like, mom, guess what I did? I walked all about, and he'll think I'm like, oh, you don't know what you just did right now.
Bro was eating gummy bears yesterday, knowing damn well I wanted him to eat something, real, but on his own, like some real food. He like, hey, I walk in the house. Yeah, we just finished eating some gummy bears. Like, yo, bro, you could have just kept that to yourself.
I didn't even ask you for any information.
You could have let that go. Yes, all right, last one. Superstitions. You got any? I never asked you this.
Damn, I wish I would have thought on this a little more.
All right, so I'll give you some, and then I'm gonna give you a story of how I got on this in the first place. So I was, and I'm a little worried, so we need to go let this go. I remember as a kid, I didn't know what a superstition was, but my mom will like tell you if something's outrageous, right? So I was probably about between the ages of 10 and 13, and my dad was pulling up on the street up here, and a black cat comes by. Right? It runs across the street. Now, I don't ever tell y'all this on the mic. My dad's from the South. He's from Atlanta or whatever, from the 50s, right? He watched Martin Luther King and all that. Like, he come with a whole bag of just different level of thinking. So as soon as that cat hit across the street in front of his car, he halts and stops. I'm in the car with him, right? He turns around and he goes up by the middle school up there on top of the hill. He goes that's how outrageous it is to go back up and make that right turn on top of the hill right here. So I get home, I say, hey, mom, black cat, ran across. My dad said, fuck that shit. I ain't going across that, right? He turned around. I was like, what's that? He's like, your dad is superstitious. He's country or whatever. Like one of the superstitions is if a black cat crosses in front of you, don't cross its path, right? So one things that I do that I'm superstitious about, that's number one on this list, is knocking on wood, right? So if I say, oh man, good health to you, man, hopefully nothing happens, knock on wood, right? Like that is a superstitious thing to me. It's like if you speak something, you don't want it to come into existence.
I don't step on cracks.
Because you don't want to break her back?
My back hurt enough. I can't imagine what it feels like broken.
Splitting poles?
I'm not too. I used to be a little more. I'm not as much on that one anymore.
Okay.
But that just might be because I just have a dark outlook on it, so it just don't matter.
Walking under a ladder? Would you be cognizant of it if I walked you under one? Like, this is bad
I would,
luck.
but not for luck. Same thing with mirrors. I'd be like, fuck it, it's broken.
Yeah, you'd be all right. Throwing salt over your shoulder? That seems some 1500-ish type thing. But throwing salt over your shoulder? What about, did you have a lucky penny or a lucky dollar?
I had, I know I had something.
$2 bills were very,
$2 bills was
it was a thing for a while. I could never hold on to it for longer than a month.
Yeah, Johnny the ice cream man got a lot of my $2 bills.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. I don't know if he going
and they
or
was
not.
They was rare enough to where he thought it was just a $1. I said, nah, look at that shit.
That's two. He be thinking it's fake. Hey, imagine that, because he's not from here. He probably thought the first one he got, like, hey, it's some bullshit. And that was pre-Google, and so he had to go around and ask people. Hey, which is crazy because I seen a video, side note real quick. I seen a video of a guy, is a local YouTube influencer out here. He bought out one of the elote man and like gave out free ice cream and shit to the kids. I was like, damn. Dude showed him, he's like, I don't know if you want to pay this. And he shows it to him. It's like $750. I was like, damn, these dudes is only carrying like $800 worth of ice cream on this damn truck.
Yeah.
More power to you.
It's not a lot.
It's not. Like that's $750 with
$750 with the cost of goods probably being like $300-400. So he's only making like $300.
Yeah, $400 a week. That's crazy. $300-400 a week. Yeah, man. All right, more power to him. Lucky Horseshoe. Friday the 13th was another one that was on that list. Step on a crack, you break your mama's back. Right. Let me see. I've never seen the Lucky Horseshoe before though. That ain't in our bracket.
Like the rabbit's foot.
Oh yeah, that's another one too. Nah, I don't like the way this list is. We're gonna kill it right there.
Nah, but that's like more like good luck stuff. I'm talking about like a different type of, like, is there a superstition I have
or something that you do repetitively, like in the morning that would be classified as a superstition?
I don't know if it's superstition or just a habit. Like I always put my left sock and shoe on before my right.
If you put your right on first.
I mean, I'm sure I have.
No, but I'm saying, do you feel like your day's like messed up? Like, damn, I didn't put my sock on that way.
No.
Like another thing, like when guys go out and pray before.
Or do I put my right one on first?
Like athletes have a lot of superstitions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what'd you do as an athlete that was a superstition? I used to have to put pine tar on the little sticky substance that they have for batters to use. I used to always have to put on pine tar and shit like that before each game, even though that shit would still be sticky like a day later, right? I would just have to redo it. Like I was like I have to be a routine base of like what I did. There was a certain way I warmed up and shit like that. There was a certain food that I ate or whatever.
Yeah, you get in your routine. I think I had the same stretch routine. I listened to the same song before a game. Obviously, if you're shooting a free throw, I had to bounce it a certain amount of times with the spin.
Right, you're right. What is yours? Mine's is 5 bounces, two spins, and then I say to myself, free throws are the key to winning the game. Free
Tim Duncan, you trying to use that whole fucking 10 second.
Yeah, it took me a while to get. Nah, I got the little speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Free throws are the key winning the game. I've never told anyone that until right now. I've been doing that since I was 7 or 8, because when I used to play up at the Chula Vista Rec, we had this coach, probably one of the smartest Latino dudes I've ever seen in my life, and as it terms to basketball, right? Like I was like, yo, he never played, but he just knows the game. But we used to have, if we made 5 in a row, he would buy us a soda. So I just built a routine because like whatever I did right the first time.
You wanted that Diet Dr. Pepper.
Nah, there was no diet back then. It was Shasta. Drinking Shasta. I'm going for the root beer Shasta too.
Yeah, mine is big spin, let it hit the ground, 3 dribbles. But while I'm dribbling, I tap my toes.
Okay, so mine's is long. You over here doing a dance routine. Yes, you are. Dancing with the Stars? Go ahead.
Quick. And then,
you don't say nothing to yourself? It's just all absent mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there free throws key. It's crazy that I'm able to recall that, bro. I'm fucking 34 years old. I'll be 34. Like I can
you
remember
ain't shot
that.
a free throw since.
It's been a while. I haven't done the routine, but I know it. Like that's literally the case.
Yeah, because you'd only really shoot free throws if you played like organized.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the park, like shooting free throws in a pickup game sounds crazy.
Well, you do it like
21.
No. I played in adult leagues too.
That's organized.
Yeah, I'm saying as an adult. As a kid, like I played, but like after that, like the height didn't match the body.
And I didn't get to the free throw line that often, so
me neither. It was always nasty.
I was always like the designated. Oh, they got a technical. Like it's on you.
But my play style does not warrant me to get fouled. Like right, I'm more magic. Like, hey, let me lead you to something that's gonna be great for you. That's All right. Hey, our play styles really like mimic our life though. You great 3-point shooter.
I move well without the ball.
I'm gonna get that's you though, right? Also, it's like, hey, I'm gonna get the most bang for my buck from behind the arc. Oh man, hit my hand claps, man. Let's go. Read a bit weak. We gonna get out of here soon.
Free throws are the key to winning.
I gotta put that on there. That's the title. That's the title.
Coach yourself up.
Key to win the game. Last week I went on holiday. Read them in week. Last week I went on holiday. You know they're not from here. To Cyprus with my friends. I don't even know where that is. We're not rich or something. We've been saving money since the year started to go on this holiday. I won about $40,000 at the casino, and we spent it all, and we spent all of it. A holiday where we spend lots of money has been our dream since childhood. We made it come true. It was a lot of fun. When I was on holiday, I told my girlfriend about the money, and we were going to blow it. But when we came back, she asked me how much money I had left. We were going to take a holiday to France this summer.
Bitch, you know what blow it means?
Yeah. She probably meant that there was some change left though. Like, but I'm gonna blow most of it, right? Nah, that's not what he was saying. We were gonna take a holiday in France this summer. I told her that I couldn't go because I didn't have enough money, but she could go. She didn't want to go without me, so the France plan was canceled. She thought that I would have some spare money and that we can go to France together. She never told me about it, about her. And when he says about it, her want to really go. We had a fight, and now she accuses me of not wanting to go on holiday with her. I hate the word holiday now, the way he's using it. I would, but I don't have any money. Yes, I won there, but I spent it all. So if she had told me about this plan, that it was concrete, I could have thought about it a little more before I blew all my money. Now she blames me for not sticking to the plan, and she didn't tell me about. Am I in the wrong?
Hell no.
Well, all right. Explain why.
I mean, now me, if I come up 40 at the casino, I'm cashing out. I don't have that blow up mentality. That's very brave of you, sir. But yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't know we was really doing this, because I'm always thinking this fool was thinking one day ahead. Like, yeah, let's do this shit on some Brewster's Millions. Me, I'm like, nah, let's say this shit for whatever. So it's hard for me to think like him, but at the same time, the way it was laid out in the story. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's his money, right? But here's where I would say, if he agreed to like going or to the idea of it. I had this issue with someone recently. I would put it like that. I had this issue with someone recently. I had made a mistake. You know what? Fuck it. Let's live on the edge. Fuck it. So I made a mistake with my wife. I was clearly wrong about this, right? So 3 weeks ago, my man's hits me up. Absent mind, absent thought, right? That's how I spend most of my days, Monday through Friday, right? I be real locked in here, right? But absent mind of things, right? My man hit me up, and I've been telling him I would come out. First, it was September, right? You live up in San Luis Obispo. Here's where my point is. $300 flight, no matter what season it is, right? Or I risk a 6-hour drive, right? So I have to plan for it, right? I got to plan for the fact that it's going to take me 6 hours to get there. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to need some rest. We're going to be running around the whole time, and then I got to plan to come back, right? So I said, look, bro, I said, I'm going to come in October instead. I said, you know what? I picked a random day. I said the 19th, right?
I already know what that means.
Sick, right? You're making it worse. Don't do that, right? I said the 19th, right? But the 19th was like a Thursday. So in my mind, right, it just didn't click, right? It just didn't click. I knew that, hey, look, that we got to do something around this time period. It just did not click. It happens to me all the time, right? I couldn't tell you my mom's birthday right now. I could tell you the ballpark around it, right? It's just a lot of information to take in as an only child with no help, right? So I sent her a message. I said, hey, am I cool to go on the 19th? She said, you mean the weekend of our wedding anniversary? I said, fuck.
At least she got straight to it and didn't try to.
Yeah, and my bail is, at least I asked her. I didn't say, hey, I'm for sure going. I asked
she could have been like, do you think it's okay that you leave on the night? She
She
could have danced around a little.
Yeah, to see where I was really at and see if I put two and two together, right? So I was like, you're right. So I hit my man up. I was like, hey, man, clerical error. You know, I made a real huge mistake. Let's do the weekend after. That wasn't even good enough for her, because then the next question was, so what are we going to do? I said, wow, that's a lot of responsibility that you're throwing on just me a month out, right? We could do this together.
She wasn't thinking about it, but now that, because obviously you didn't have no plan if you was trying to leave on the night.
Exactly. But so in this regard though, right? I am that guy, right? I didn't take into consideration, right, what my significant, now obviously I'm married, he has a girlfriend, but if he loves her enough to, you know, travel and go to these places. Here's another thing about y'all motherfuckers out here. If you spending a lot of money going out with a woman or whatever, it's either you tricking or you really like her. Don't try to dumb it down that you don't. We got to stop doing that. Well, we got to stop acting like we don't care. We don't see ourselves with this person long term just because we don't ask to put a ring on or whatever. But if you spend a large amount of money, to me, that just doesn't make any sense. That is your girlfriend who you care about a lot deeply. Stop.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the men that be trying to dumb this shit down. Like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. If you're going to France, it's expensive.
I thought you was talking to the women. Like, hey, just because they ain't putting a ring on it don't mean we ain't taking you serious.
No, well, that too. Like, you got to read between the lines. If somebody's willing to spend a good majority of their income where they can freely do things with, not this mother. He went out and blew 40 racks real fast, but he was in the wrong. Because if you set up the hopes of doing that, why not set aside money? Now, also for her, it's a wake-up call. Like, if you got to ask yourself if this is the type of person you want to deal with, because anybody that blows $40K on a 5-day vacation is kind of wild.
I do not really, but I mean, yeah.
If you ain't got it, you don't got it.
I'm in the middle of this.
Matter of fact, imagine somebody who's asked you for money that got $40K or whatever and blew it, and how your response would be to them. Somebody that's asked you for money or help or something like that several times. You'd be like, it's kind of crazy. I don't think you need to do that.
Smaller scale.
Matter of fact,
less zeros.
The gentleman that we was just talking about before we got on mic, imagine him getting $40K and just blowing it. Like, I think you might have needed that given your circumstances. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All right. Hand claps. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, yeah. I love the time right now. I'm ready to quit. Fun facts. Approximately 1 in every 2,000 babies already has a tooth when they are first born. I've never seen that.
I think I knew that was a thing, but yeah, I'd be like.
What got me, I was watching this show on, I want to say it's on Netflix. It's got to be on Netflix. No, it's not on Netflix. It's on Apple. It's called Invasion. And the girl is in there and the baby like bites her. He's like, that's impossible. It's a newborn. And I was like, so then 2 days later, I saw this stat and I was like, well, yeah.
It's got to be tough on mom.
Yeah. Nobody believes her. It was like the baby was like possessed or something. Like, that wasn't Invasion. It was the show I was talking about last week that I did not go back to watch. Like I went back and watched 2 more episodes and it got really corny.
You told the whole world to watch it, but then you stopped.
I did. My apologies, man. That was one, but it was egregious. Like, well, how do you get 70% on? I'm done with IMDb too. A lot of them be lying about this, right?
Well, yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, it's a 60%." I said, "Oh, they got paid because this ain't no 60%." The dialogue is so cheesy.
60% don't even sound that high.
I thought 40 was low. I've seen some 40s, right? I've seen some good 60s. Some good 70s. 80 seems impossible. I don't see a lot of 80%, 90%. And the movies that they do that be the real deep, introspective ones. Like
the ones I ain't trying to watch.
No, it'd be like some shit like, yeah, I just can't. Michael Jackson's shiny glove was actually just a modified golf glove. So a lot of people thought that Mike, there were several reasons why people thought why Mike wore that glove. One of them was because of his vitiligo diagnosis, right? Because, the changing of the color of his hand and stuff. Other people just said like he was looking for a new fashion statement.
Swag.
Just swag. So that show that I was showing you about, like, I was thinking about how much that glove would go for. It'd probably go for $10,000, $15,000, which is crazy. A regular golf glove is like $9. So
no, I feel like that's already happened.
That's already been sold already.
15,000. How dare you disrespect Mike?
You think it's more than that, bro? The hat was like 20,000 when I watched the show.
They just sold like Tupac's ring for like 1.2 million.
Let me see how much this glove went for then. Give me the real fact about it.
I'm pretty sure this.
The fun fact is the glove is a golf glove. You tell me what the fact is of how much it sold for again. I mean, and I'm sure it's probably been sold plenty of times. But while he does that, underneath the streets of Beijing,
330 grand.
Okay, I was wrong. My bad. My bad. To my listeners, I didn't mean to give y'all to stray y'all away from the main points of the episode and everything, but my bad. All right, next he's intrigued now. Y'all got to see intrigue, Lex, when something catches.
I'm trying to see if it's like because it probably has sold more than once.
It has to have.
This one says like 100.
So it's gone up with the market.
Well, yeah, it should be an appreciating.
Well, that's one of the things that they were saying in that show was like, yo, like sometimes it's good to hold on to something, and when somebody does something good in the new, it's like stocks almost.
And you said the hat went for 20. This one just said 100. So
it went. It was one of the hats. I don't know. He's had several hats, but one of them they were listing up for like 20. It wasn't no 100K that guy got. Because he was trying to bank in. I remember he was trying to bank in on Britney Spears's little wardrobe malfunction piece that he had, and he was trying to get it for like 30, and they was like, no, we'll save it in the vault for you or whatever, and when she gets hot again, I was like, well, right now ain't the time. She got a divorce and all kind of shit. Like, it's gonna be a while. Underneath the streets of Beijing, there are over 1 million people who live underground in bunkers.
That's kind of.
There's a lot of people in China.
So there's more of them.
Speaking of invasion,
so they ran out of room.
He said, "So there's more of them." It's funny.
I would think that would happen in Japan, because Japan they just be living. Well, I guess China
too.
They be living on top of each other. They definition of a studio apartment is nuts.
Is this with a bed in it, a little shower, and you like, oh, it's a great neighborhood.
They live in the underground like Demolition Man.
They said that it's funny you said that, because they said that they were able to get air on Mars, like on one of the things. I be getting hot with comments sometimes. Like that's how I be testing if I'm still funny or not. I go onto the comment section and say something funny and see if a bunch of people like it. But they said you could get air on Mars now. So, oh, that remind me of Total Recall. A lot of people don't know that movie, man. They wasn't outside. I be trying to tell them, you ain't even seen it.
That wasn't my shit.
Yeah, because your boy, good old Arnold, was in there.
That's not why I didn't see it, but
nah, that was you couldn't foresee that. He was bodybuilder Arnold at that point. He wasn't Governor Schwarzenegger. God, I hate it. Here we start laying foundations here for these celebrities that think they can be politicians, man.
He wasn't the first. Reagan.
Oh, you're right.
And that motherfucker went all the way to president.
He was a movie actor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I had to reclaim myself. When you got to drop another fact, like, oh yeah, he was an actor, huh? The full name of Chuck E. Cheese is this is what.
Oh yeah.
Do you know it?
No. Oh man. I feel like I was there so much this year that
you should have known. I worked there, dog.
It's on the way. It's on the way to the bathroom. It says it.
It says the whole thing. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
Chuck Entertainment Cheese.
Charles Entertainment Queso.
That's crazy. The day after Thanksgiving is called Brown Friday by plumbers in America because it's their it's their busiest day of the year. Now, there's been plenty of Thanksgivings that I remember where somebody's fucked up the toilet. Not to the point where a plumber's had to come. But based off of that experience, I was like, that makes sense. Like if you're a plumber, day after Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays in general, because that's when the bathrooms are getting the most usage. You got people. Matter of fact, I think you can't flush them all at the same time, right? Some of these old houses, right? Because it causes a plumbing issue. That makes sense. When we're born, the only innate fears we have are the fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. All the other fears are learned. Now, my wife tried to argue this with me this morning before I got here. She was like, well, I'm afraid of bees. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I've never been stung. I was like, yeah, but you probably had a life experience of someone who got stung and they told you it hurt like hell, and therefore that created that fear.
Yeah, or society is, you see stuff in society, you see someone else get stung, or you see something that makes you feel that way. It's not, you're not born with that.
I think we did talk about this before. Because I was like in college one time, like this lady said, like a fear of getting robbed. Like, so I'll give you an extreme. So right here by the liquor store and everything, it's been getting active. So much so that I was like, yo, it's time to move. Right? Like I was like, you know what? So I'll become that black family in the neighborhood. It was like, yo, it's time to get up out of here. Right?
Black flight.
Yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. So somebody got robbed at knife point for their car. Right? And I'm sitting up here like, oh, that's crazy. So to avoid that, I drove all the way on the other side of town to go get some stuff that I need to get to avoid that shopping center for a week. Now, that's like almost like gambler's fallacy, right? But they call it mean world syndrome. Because I saw something happen. The only reason why I did that is because my daughter was in the car with me. If it was me solo, okay, I'll take the
I'm not judging you.
But no, I'm just saying, like, otherwise I wouldn't be that. But with her in the car, she's a liability in terms of me running the safety. So it's like, how about we just not put ourselves...
I can't save myself if you...
I got to pick her up. Like, my speed is slow if I pick you up and you not running as fast as me. How about we just not go there, right? I love her to death, but you got to be realistic. So, but that's mean world syndrome. Just because something happened that Tuesday doesn't mean it's going to happen that Friday, right? Like, that's a fear that I've created within myself based on someone else's experience. A lot of people live like that, too.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, I wasn't born with the fear of spiders, and that's my biggest fear. And it's quite irrational.
Where'd you get it from?
I watched Arachnophobia when I was like 5. That probably didn't help. Yeah, I don't know.
What are your kids afraid of?
Zeke is afraid of snails. G's afraid of dogs.
The dogs is reasonable. The snails is crazy.
Yes. Dogs, kids and dogs, like that's, it makes sense. The snail thing, I was like, you serious?
But we start that. We be like, yo, don't touch that dog.
No, he got bit. The snail thing, I don't know where the fuck that came from. But he just be on some shit sometimes.
So he don't fuck with SpongeBob at all.
Like there's that, when the snails come out like after, or even like a fresh rain or something like that.
Or in the morning, yeah, they be moving.
And when G was having soccer practice, and then they used to be just plastered all over this fence. And we'd be there, and he'd be like, nah, it's a snail day. And I'm like, nah. So the next day, I'm like, hey, you coming to practice with us? Nah, today's a snail day. I ain't going. I'm like, all right, man. It's a snail day.
Snail day is crazy. Yo, it don't even bother nobody. Matter of fact, they've been trying to get away from us for a while.
Yeah.
Slowly.
On the way.
Oh, we out of here. We out of here. Now, Chris is afraid of tornadoes. He keeps bringing that shit up. Hurricanes, tornadoes, any natural disaster. And then, matter of fact, so what got me was last night, he was watching. I said, what are you watching? He said, I'm watching this thing on tornadoes. But then they came up to another natural disaster page. It was at the end of the video.
Oh, shit. There's more I got to...
It was a glacier. It was like, oh, these glaciers, they fall. And he was like, oh, no. And mind you, we're getting ready to get on a boat. So he's like, oh, there's glaciers in the water? It's like, bro, we're going to the Atlantic.
Not for too much longer, man. Yeah, the glaciers going to be gone real quick.
And we're going to the Atlantic. So hurricanes is what you worried about more than anything. So...
Let them know them glaciers going to be melted in no time.
Yeah. Oh, man. Last days. All right, man. Last one, then we out of here. Shows to watch. You hear my hand claps?
Shit, you usually say it first.
Oh, my bad.
You usually introduce the...
I only said because you be looking at me like how you did. I thought we was better right now. My bad.
When you said last one, I thought another fact was coming.
Oh, my bad. My bad. That's on me. Any shows you got?
Yeah, we just finished on HBO. It's called How To with John Wilson. Now, this is a very, I would say, an acquired taste show. Because the dude that films it, it's kind of low budget. He's kind of odd. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of like it's funny. It's funny how he puts it together. Basically, this dude, he just lives in New York and he has a camera on at all times. He films everything. And then he'll put together these episodes and string it together where he narrates them. So it'll say how to, and it'll be the most random thing ever. How to clean your ears, how to do something like super random. And then he'll go and he'll put this story together with all the stuff that he's filmed around New York. And he'll just find like the most random shit that fits whatever he's talking about, or the most random people. Like, how the fuck did you find somebody that would say this at this time or whatever? And it's all like, it's unscripted, and it's only like 30-minute episodes. And if it's his final season, I think it was like 3 or 4 seasons. And it's like totally random, but it's like funny if you have that type of humor. And yeah, so it's gonna be a hit or miss depending on who checks it out. But for those people that have that humor, I think it's worth a shot.
All right. The movie I watched was Reptile, and it's on Netflix. It just came out. Justin Timberlake is the star. I didn't recognize him. Boy, did he age bad. Right, or maybe
he was just at the NSYNC just came together at the VMAs.
You would know before me on that one. Yeah,
he did look a little, and they did a Hot Ones.
Oh, like the wings. Yeah. See, he looks different.
Yeah, he's starting to get there.
And she said it. She's like, "Is that Justin Timberlake?" I was like, "No." And then he started talking more. I said, "Damn, she right. That is him. He still got that little voice, right?" So it's called Reptile. It's about this town or whatever. This guy comes from like a big police force, but he's getting married and stuff like that. It's pretty good. It's like a thriller with a lot of twists and turns.
He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he's not bad at all. He did a great job in this. So it's slow, but look, this is what we got with SAG-AFTRA. You know what I mean? It's slow, but it's shot well. It's not corny. There's nothing like stupid takes or nothing like that. So it's called Reptile. On Netflix. You can check it out on your phones or streaming devices. And now we out of here, dog. Look, hour and 52 weeks. Can't keep doing it that way. Can't sustain yet.
Sure we could.
Nah, well, I'm sure we could, but I ain't gonna do it today. Heck nah. I'm gonna give y'all the pod y'all want next week, though. I'm gonna tell you that now. You always gotta have a day where you coast it. I'm coasting today. But with some quality topics. I really want you to get in the money bag and explain that, because I know that people, when they see those clips, they don't read between the lines, and Lex is a read between the guys type of guy. You know, he reads the terms and conditions when he signs his name off electronically.